What's up guys, my name is Nick and welcome to my channel. I've recently received a number of questions in regard to whether a cash or margin account is better in the context of trading options. I think the simple answer is that it depends based on what your own unique requirements are, but let's quickly break down the pros and cons of each account type so you can make an informed decision and draw your own conclusions. Before we get into the video though, do me a huge favour, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. It costs you nothing but really does help support the channel and pushes me to keep consistently cranking out content. With that said, let's get straight into it. Which is better for you, a cash or margin account for trading options? I think the first and most crucial point to address right off the bat is that option trading permissions can be vastly different between these two account types. Typically, for example, cash accounts only allow very basic positions and are limited to long or buying of calls and puts and covered or cash secured shorts. So a covered call might be allowed in a cash account since any short call written would be covered by an equivalent long position in the underlying stock. But any other positions, however, typically would not. This would include, for example, defined risk strategies which include a short option leg, which by definition have a fixed and limited potential loss. These positions would include popular strategies like debit spreads or short premium positions like credit spreads and iron condors, for example. FINRA, the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, is an independent non-governmental organisation that writes and enforces the rules governing registered brokers and broker-dealer firms in the United States. So, regardless of which brokerage you choose, if it is based in the US and therefore overseen by FINRA, they will not be in a position to allow you to trade these option strategies in a cash account. In fact, in a Robinhood account, for example, the account type will automatically change from cash to margin in the event you trade any option contracts, even if you're just buying calls and puts, although this is not typically the case for most full-service brokerages. And why they do this, quite frankly, I'm not entirely sure. Look, many traders view options simply as an opportunity to create or add leverage to a position. It's possible to control 100 shares of stock relatively cheaply with a single option, and so outright long option trading permissions may be all you think you require, but this is extremely short-sighted. Options are a tremendously versatile instrument, and to restrict yourself to just buying outright options to open is a mistake in my opinion. Before I receive a rant in the comments regarding the dangers of short option trading, as I've already discussed, there are plenty of defined risk strategies that can add another string to your option trading bow that have a defined risk and or positive theta, but simply cannot be traded in a cash account. So far, let's be clear, it's 1-0 to the margin account. There is significantly more versatility in terms of the option strategies you can trade within this account due to the restrictions that are imposed upon and applied to cash accounts. Margin accounts are also settled immediately. What does that actually mean? Well, let's say it's Monday morning and you have $2,000 in your account, which is also coincidentally the minimum that is required by FINRA to open a margin account. Heads up. If you have at least $25,000 in a taxable trading account, then as an option trader, you should unambiguously choose the flexibility of margin over cash. The immediate discussion that follows relates to settlement of cash accounts and the impact of the PDT or pattern day trader rule on each account type, and this, lucky you, doesn't affect you. While there would be more interesting nuggets of knowledge in the rest of this video, and the fact that I'd appreciate the watch time, I don't want to waste yours either. If you are watching this video though, I suspect that's likely not you, so do stay tuned. So, it's Monday morning and you have $2,000 in funds in your account. In the context of buying stock, this simply means that in a cash account, you can purchase shares of any counter up to the value of the cash held in that account. Tesla's trading at $834.20 a share, so you can buy up to just 2 shares. In a margin account, however, which is typically margined at a minimum of 50%, you'll be able to buy twice as many or 4 shares. There are of course risks associated with that transaction, since not just gains but also losses are amplified as a result. Additionally, the broker will impose a borrowing cost for the use of this margin, since they're essentially lending you the money to partially fund your purchase. To be clear though, if you only use $2,000, the amount of cash that is held in your margin account, there are no charges since no margin is actually utilized. There's no rule that says you have to use the margin available to you in a margin account simply because it is there. So back to Tesla. Okay, so it's been a good day, and with what seems to be a 97% probability lately, yet again Tesla's rallied higher and you decide to sell out of your position. In a cash account, it takes 2 days for a stock trade to settle. This means that despite the fact you've already sold out of your position and realized your profit, you won't be able to trade again using those funds for 2 working days. In the case of this example, that would be Wednesday, of course. This is not the case in a margin account, where funds are immediately settled and can be used to make other trades. However, and here's the thing, a single round trip in a day, that is buying or selling a stock short and then closing the position on the same day, creates what is known as a day trade. FINRA is back to spoil the party. Their regulations specifically state that in margin accounts with less than $25,000, traders cannot make more than 3-day trades over any 5-day rolling period, and this restriction also applies in the case of options trading. So, if you buy and sell the same option contract on the same trading day, it counts as a single day trade. If these trades are grouped together as a spread, such as a credit or debit spread, or an iron condor, any strategy that has multiple legs, this is counted as a single trade. But it is nevertheless still a day trade. While an initial breach of these rules typically results in a warning at your broker's discretion, a repeated violation can lead to an account being suspended and frozen for 90 days. In a cash account, option contracts settle more quickly than stock, in just 1 day in fact, or what is referred to as T+1, and so the funds would be available again to trade with on Tuesday, the following day. Again, in a similar way in which margin accounts are monitored, the use of unsettled funds in a cash account leads to what is known as a good faith violation and will also lead to restrictions being imposed on the account. So the question becomes, how do we avoid PDT or the pattern day trading rules in a margin account? Well, the first and most obvious way is just to not day trade. By swing trading and holding positions over a longer time frame, the PDT rule is now no longer relevant. I'm sure I'll receive comments suggesting there is significant more risk in this approach, but this would suggest to me that you're trading with far too much leverage. If you can't hold a trade overnight because the potential risk to your account balance is too high, your position is likely too large in the context of the volatility of the underlying stock that you're trading. This is an issue of leverage and position sizing rather than the limitations of cash or margin accounts, and is beyond the scope of today's videos. Other solutions would include 1. Opening multiple accounts with different brokers. 2. Opening an offshore account. Since FINRA's regulations only relate to US-based brokerages, companies incorporated overseas are not required to comply with these regulations. I would caution you, though, to do sufficient due diligence. There are a number of players established in overseas jurisdictions where regulation is virtually non-existent. If a broker offers you 8+ times leverage on your account, for example, this may be the first clue. Personally, I don't trade in an offshore account and never have. I can't and won't make any specific recommendations. As I say, just make sure to do your own due diligence. Third and finally, consider trading a different product group other than stocks. Futures and Forex, for example, are not subject to these rules imposed by the pattern day trading rules and regulations. Some of these contracts do have extremely large multipliers though, and are too expensive for many smaller traders. tastytrade have recently listed a number of liquid futures contracts via the small exchange, and all of these contracts are far more suited to the smaller retail investor. Access to these products is available through a number of brokers, including Tastyworks of course, and I've included details in the description below. In summary then, I would suggest for most options traders that a margin account is the better selection of the two. A margin account has considerably more flexibility in terms of the strategies that are at your disposal. The potential issues and risks with naked options largely relate to leverage in my opinion. To not have the opportunity to include short premium positions within your trading arsenal is effectively like trading with one hand tied behind your back. While I'm not a huge fan of the PDT rule personally, the fact is, it's a reality that you need to be mindful of if you are an option trader working with less than 25k in a margin account. While there are a number of methods that I highlighted to circumvent this rule, I'd advise you to spend more time and energy looking at and modifying your trading style, your risk management, and your position sizing if you are currently trading in a smaller account with less than $25,000. If you made it this far, you made it to the end, and I'm incredibly grateful for your support. If you enjoyed the video, please smash the like button before you go and subscribe to the channel down here. I release new videos every week. However, if you're still not convinced, you can check out other option-related content on this channel by clicking somewhere over there. Until the next time, stay safe guys, take it easy, cheers.